So I'd love to shift focus a little bit and talk about some of the changes that the dermatology specialty has seen over the last 30 years. And there have been a few really significant changes. My understanding from the research that I've done is that Botox was approved by the FDA for cosmetic use. I understand about 20 years ago. There was the introduction of fractionalized lasers for cosmetics treatment, and then the biologics that really revolutionized the standard of care for psoriasis. Can you talk a little bit about how those transformations or those advancements transformed your practice?
Well, I've always thought of dermatology as being ahead of the curve in a lot of ways in medicine. Dermatology was really a leader in developing effective, cost-effective care in the outpatient setting. When I started practice, most of medicine was very hospital-centric. You'd admit a patient for a CT scan.
Oh, wow.
And patients would stay weeks on end in the hospital for hospital care. Dermatology really showed medicine in general how to provide high quality care in the office, including pioneering a number of the things that you mentioned, outpatient procedures, even Mohs surgery really completely changed the care of patients. In the past, historically, patients had skin cancer. They would often see a general surgeon or a plastic surgeon. Wide margins might be taken. Mohs surgery really made that a much user-friendly experience for patients. Lasers, as you mentioned, I was lucky enough in my residency to work with some lasers, so I got the bug early on, and always wanted lasers to be part of my practice. I always say boys like their toys, and so it was a way of learning something new every year by bringing on a new technology or a new piece of equipment, and that's really made a huge difference in our ability to take care of the cosmetic needs of our patients, as well as some real necessary medical needs like port wine stains. There are, I've treated 2-week-old babies with port wine stains, and they've never had to face a disfiguring birthmark later in life, and that's really quite inspiring to know that you could really change the course of how them not being teased or having to cover this up for the rest of their life. Botox has really given us a low-impact tool to make a big difference for patients in their lines of expression. The fillers were developed and are still evolving every year to allow to have many different tools to replace the volume of the aging face. Dermatologists have been very involved in a lot of basic research, better understanding the mechanisms of all the different inflammatory diseases that we have. Patients always ask me, why this, why that? I said, we're much better at describing a disease than telling you why. But the nice breakthroughs are when at least we understand why, and then a company develops a biologic that can target the why, and actually more effectively help us manage a patient with a more tolerable treatment and a more effective treatment. So I think we're extremely fortunate to live in an era where metastatic melanoma is no longer a death sentence. Again, working as a team with our oncologists, they now have tools that can really control what were previously fatal diseases and really gives hope to some of our patients in the most dire need. There are many things that we still don't understand the why, so I'm very optimistic that we'll have many different tools down the road. So it's an exciting time to be a dermatologist. I think the adage back in the day was, for dermatologists, if it was wet, dry it. If it was dry, wet it. And there were just some very basic tools that dermatologists have. Not everything has to be treated with a sledgehammer anymore.